Hello, Gaston County. Welcome to episode number 110 of Gaston's Great, a podcast highlighting some of the great things happening in and around Gaston County. I'm your host, Stephen Long, and we are coming to you once again from the international headquarters of GSM Services right here in downtown Gastonia. We simply believe in discussing more of the reasons why Gaston's great. We are highlighting another great organization this week, I think, as we highlight the Gaston Arts Council. We have Jessica Tillman, Ashley, you know what? I didn't ask how to pronounce it. Gilliam?
Gilliam,
yeah. All right.
You got it.
And Stephanie Newman with us today. Jessica is the arts administrator. Ashley is the current chair of the board. And Stephanie is also a board member. So Jessica, Ashley, and Stephanie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
All right. So we're going to get right to it, and we're not going to let you off the hook before we get specifically talking about the Gaston Arts Council. Ashley, maybe we'll start with you since you're the closest. Sorry. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, anything that you'd like to share before we get into the Arts Council.
Okay. So about me, I'm from Gastonia, born and raised.
That's excellent, actually. So am I.
There you go. And I went to Chapel Hill. Go Hills.
That's unfortunate.
No, what? You know what? I'm going to skip past that. I work for Domtar Corporation as a benefits administrator.
Okay.
And as a hobby, I'm a filmmaker and an actor as well. So on top of being on the Gaston Arts Council.
Excellent.
So
you mind me asking where you went to high school here in Gaston?
I went to Hunter Hus.
Stephanie? So I'm an Ashbrook and an NC State guy.
Double. Oh, wow. Go Huskies.
So this podcast just went like,
yeah.
Are you regretting coming to the podcast now all of a sudden?
I'll just say go Huskies and go Heels.
I'm married to Tar Heel, so I can't.
Oh, see, there you go.
I can't say anything about that. It's been terrific. So,
yeah.
And listen, we love Hunter Hus. So
there you go.
Stephanie, what about you, ma'am?
So I've been in Gaston County for about 13 years now.
That's long enough to be
not born and raised here, but I've been here.
We call you a Gastonian at that point after 13 years.
Yeah,
yes.
Kramertonian, actually.
Okay.
So I'm down the road in Kramerton, I'm the creative director for Daniel Stowe Botanical Garden.
Okay, very good.
I also work some with Catawba Riverkeeper, so definitely working in the arts aspect for both of those organizations.
Yeah, we've had the Riverkeepers on with John Searby. I know he's doing like a dual role now.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to talk about talking about Stowe Botanical on a different episode.
Yeah.
We haven't done that yet. Sorry.
That'd be
great. Sorry to interrupt you. That was rude.
No, we'd love to have you out.
Okay. Absolutely.
Do an on-site podcast.
I don't think our equipment's good enough for that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of what I do.
Great. Thank you. Jessica, how about you, ma'am?
I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I currently live in Charlotte.
I'm kidding.
And I'm an actress.
We just did a sound effect because you have no headphones, because you can't hear it. But
God, what was the sound effect?
It was like
it was like Twilight Zone-ish.
Yes.
Because you're from Charlotte.
Hilarious. I'm an actress. I'm also a voice actor and a print model, and I've been with Gaston Arts Council for about a year as arts administrator.
Okay.
I started as an office assistant, and so yeah.
Well, terrific. Well, listen, I appreciate you kind of, our listeners like to hear a little background about who our guests are before we kind of get into the meat of the program. So again, the point today is, what can we learn, our listeners learn? There may be some people out here who are not familiar with the Gaston Arts Council, and so that's kind of the point. And so I guess, again, Ashley, you're out of luck because you're closest to me. Just the next question is going to be for all of you, but, let's start with this one. How did you get involved with the Gaston Arts Council? And then we'll just move to the other. And how did you end up here and involved with the Arts Council?
Yeah, so I was actually recommended by one of my good friends, and Jessica. We have the same mentor, Miss Maria Howell. She's from Gastonia as well. She's an actor. And she recommended from the director, Kim George, to be able to reach out to us to see if we were interested in being a board member. And so I got a call last year, and she said, what we do, and, would I be interested in it? And so I said, of course. And then that's where we are now. So that's how I got involved with it.
Okay, very good. Stephanie, how about you?
I got involved because I was looking to kind of connect. At the time, I was working for the Riverkeeper and developing arts programs there, and so looking to connect with arts organizations in Gaston County and to really reach artists as we were growing our programs. And so that's really how I got in touch with the Gaston Arts Council. And then, these lovely ladies asked me if I wanted to join the board, and so here I am.
Excellent. Okay. Jessica?
So like Ashley said, I knew Maria Howell, and this year, particularly for actors, it's been a bit tough. And so I was looking for a part-time job, and she asked me, was I interested in being an office assistant, and had a couple conversations with the former director, Kim, and that's how I'm here.
All right. Well, very good. Well, I appreciate that. So, big question, and I'll maybe stick with you, Jessica. Can you tell our listeners and tell us about what's the mission of the organization? What are some of the initiatives going on? So, obviously, I hope all three of you will interject on this, but what are you trying to accomplish on a day-to-day basis at the Arts Council?
Right. So Gaston Arts Council, we champion and support the arts in Gaston County.
Okay.
And we partner with the NC Arts Council. We're a designated county partner. So the NC Arts Council gives us grant funding. So we have grassroots grant funding and also ARPA grant funding this year. But this year, the state legislature has given us increased amount of money.
Okay.
So they're giving $2.5 million to North Carolina, counties in North Carolina, and so we get a portion of that. And so a part of our job is to distribute the money to arts organizations and artists within our county. And so that's a major reason why we wanted to also come on, is just to, let people know that applications are open. Our, deadline is December 1st, stuff like that. And so we really encourage artists and art organizations to apply, especially this year, because our ARPA grant is also ending this year. It's a federal program that supported art organizations after the pandemic. And so we really want people to take advantage of it. And so we also, in the past, we've done programming. We're kind of in a transition. Our former executive director is no longer with us. And so we want to scale back on programming, but we still want to connect with the community and, be more visible and, rebuild our relationships with Gaston County.
Stephanie or Ashley, anything you would add to that? Any specific initiatives you're involved with? You mentioned Stowe Botanical Garden, trying to reach out to get involved with maybe arts programs, or anything else you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I think just kind of what Jessica said is right now we're looking at scaling back the programmatic side of things, but how we are connecting with the artists in Gaston County in a more meaningful way. And so bringing them together in more of like a meet and greet style, because I think being an artist can be very isolating when you really get into your own work and your own workspace. And so, right now looking at how we can, kind of build ourselves up as an organization, but also build up artists and arts organizations and make sure that we become almost like that point of contact for every artist or arts organization.
Clearinghouse or place where everybody can collaboration maybe with others. Is that a okay way to word that, or am I just way off there?
Yeah, I think so. I think, the goal too would be that everybody knows that you can come and see what's going on in Gaston County in the art scene. If you go to our website, if you go to our Instagram, whether it be, something that's happening at the Little Theater, or if it's, a program that's happening, out at the garden, that, all of these arts programs you can find in one place, and we kind of want to be that place.
Okay, very good. Ashley, anything you would add to that?
Yeah, just a part of that, we are looking to kind of bridge the gap, because I think a lot of organizations are kind of, like you said, isolated, and so they don't know what the other is doing. So I feel like what we're doing now, we have a collaboration with the Little Theater that's going to be the December 8th, 9th, and 10th, where we're going to get together directors, actors, and writers. And you don't have to be experienced. You can just be someone that's just looking to have fun, just a beginning, type of, they're just beginning with their skills, and just come out. So Friday, the writers are going to write, and it's just going to be like a one-act play. And then Saturday, the directors and the actors are going to come out to rehearse that. And then Sunday, that's going to be the performance. So it's just like a weekend where it's almost like a 24-hour thing. You just write, then direct, and then act, and then that's going to be a way that we can kind of collaborate with the Little Theater, for example. So that information is found. You can go to their Instagram page. I think it's at Little Theater of Gastonia. And you can sign up if you want to be a director, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a writer. And then we'll send you emails to let you know where to be, where to go, what time, and all that good stuff. So
what about you? So you mentioned the Little Theater. You mentioned Stowe Botanical. When you use the phrase other art organizations, maybe for lack of a better phrase, because that's I'm a business owner and a contractor and an engineer by training. So the art scene is probably just not top of mind for me. So what other organizations might come to mind, or what when art organizations around here? Is anything comes to mind, or you can share?
I can say that the African American Museum
of
Culture and History at Luray Mill, the new one.
Yeah, we had that was one of our episodes, by the way.
Oh, Miss Dot, yes,
yeah,
I
she's
love
terrific.
Her.
Yeah. So was a Little Theater, by the way.
Yeah, I love them. And Gaston County Art Guild.
Art Guild, we've had the Art Guild on too.
Yeah,
the Gaston County Museum. We also contributed to their art mural.
We've had them on as well.
Yep.
Y'all are just throwing out some. This is like great advertising. I appreciate this. Well
Gaston
done.
College has an amazing arts program.
Yes.
Okay.
We've got, just different galleries throughout Gaston County. So the Awaken Gallery and Bliss. So there's multiple, lots of different organizations. It's just getting people to understand where to look for them and find them.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Because I think even somebody like myself who lived here my whole life, there's some things that are just right in front of us, and we've lived here forever. We just don't recognize it, right, until we talk to people like you who are involved with that and familiar with that. Can you share with our listeners maybe an example of your time with the organization, or maybe it doesn't even have to be strictly with the Arts Council, but anything that you've seen that was an impact that we saw occur, whether it was with an individual, a group, some collaboration that you guys have done, or that you said, wow, that's the reason that the Arts Council is here. Is that a fair question, or if I just completely stumped you?
I mean, I can give an example. So the African American Quilt Guild, they make quilts for the homeless, which I think is wonderful.
Right.
Last year, we were able to give them funds through our ARPA grant to get a quilt machine.
Oh, wow.
So they can make those quilts faster for the homeless. And so for me, like that was a wonderful thing to be able to give back to the community, but have an artistic art quilt, right, that they can make. And I thought that was... And
filling in a practical need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that we see, especially here we are in almost December, especially I would assume this time of year probably.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Anything else come to mind? 'Cause that's a great example. That's exactly what I was asking about, is something that you can connect with, something that an impact that you guys have seen going on, or a family or anything like that.
I mean, I also have another one, but I don't know.
Go for it.
So we give also funds to the Gaston Dance Theater.
Okay.
And
we had them on as well.
Yeah. Elizabeth is wonderful.
Guys have got it going on.
So they give students from Title I schools an opportunity to go to some of their events during the holiday season. So
right.
This year, they're given tickets to the Nutcracker.
Yeah,
so some students may not usually have the opportunity to do that, and so we support those type of programs.
Okay, very good. So this may be it's a similar question, and so you can guys tell me we need to move on. But just not just this, but in your involvement in the community in general. Is there something you think of that maybe you're most proud of accomplishing, or is it kind of just the thing that you just share, something specific that comes to mind?
I think for us, I think the fact that we're doing meet and greets.
Okay.
Even though it seems very simple, it still provides a forum or a place where other people can say, hey, that would be a great idea. How about we collaborate and get people to talking that would ultimately not really be in the same space, which oddly enough that happens sometimes. But I think we were able to get a following of people or organizations that are excited when they come to the meet and greet, because they don't know who they're going to meet, and they don't know that could be their potential partner or, like I said, a collaborator. So I think that's the biggest thing that I think we can take away, is that it hasn't happened before. I don't think it's happened before. I might be wrong, but yeah, that's something.
Yeah, I mean, to your point about it sounds simple. Well, my experience is that simple is better typically. You add complexity to any kind of idea or project, it just
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
it can. Yeah, I mean, the more people are involved, and it's just it can cause the end result never happens, or the end result is not what you planned up
Exactly.
front. So simple is better. Anything you guys would add to that, or did Ashley kind of nail that one?
I think that's
Okay.
That's definitely a good answer, because I think people are hungry for community, and so even just being able to provide a forum like that in order to help build community in the art spaces.
Yeah, right before we started recording, I asked if you guys, I think you went back in the room yet, Jess, but I asked if that you might have been on a podcast before, and I think you mentioned you had been on a Zoom podcast. And to your point about community, as great as virtual is and has been through that whole COVID period, we don't like to say that word around here any longer, but community face-to-face for me is just so much. There is that need, in my opinion. So people are looking for that. They're almost just they want that's how people thrive. Collaboration, a little bit. Some collaboration can occur virtually, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. So
we're so comfortable, right? Like, anytime you set up a meeting, we're like, we're going to do it via Zoom, right? And they're like, if it's in person, you're like, well, okay, I got to drive. I got to get in my car. It's like we're just comfortable doing that. But I agree. Like,
and then that went on long enough that it did become almost habitual, right?
Mm-hmm.
It became another habit as opposed to, I mean, I got to get dressed. I mean, so actually for our business, that never really happened because we were considered an essential business, whatever that means. I would argue that every business is essential. Every organization is essential. But I'm involved with a lot of community organizations, and almost everything was virtual. Mm-hmm. And it really caused fundraising problems. It caused, just interaction opportunities. It was just a strange time. And I would just think, being in your niche, that it would be even more important to get face-to-face in that. So, looking ahead for the organization, and this is that classic question of 5 to 10 years down the road. I'm not sure in the world we live in today that might be too long. Things seem to change so quickly. But how would you answer that question? Looking ahead, any big plans, anything that comes to mind that, man, this is what we got going on?
We're looking to grow.
Okay.
Right. Like I mentioned before, we're in transition.
Okay.
We have 6 board members. We need 12.
Okay.
Need volunteers on our fundraising committee or marketing committee. We would love to have more staff so that we can do more programs. I think before at one of our meet and greets back in, I think it was September, but maybe even before that, where we talked about doing a film festival, right,
yes.
in Gastonia.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we do want to be like the clearinghouse where people can come and say, what's going on in Gaston County. But I think we want to be able to do more in the community. We don't want to overdo it, right? We want to make sure that we have more capacity, because due to our circumstances and our transition that we're in, we've had to say no to partnerships that we've had in the past.
Okay.
So if anybody willing to support.
So we've got a listener out there who loves the arts, loves what's going on in Gaston County, or what could go on in Gaston County. They, before we finish, I'll make sure you guys let us know how people can get in touch with you, where they can find more information. Obviously, again, that's the point. So listen, if one person if nothing else comes from this, but one person gets involved with the organization, that would be worth it, in my opinion. So, again, I appreciate you sharing that. So, would you guys add anything to that, or did Jessica kind of hit on the short-term goals? Anything long-term besides just taking over the world?
Well, taking over Gaston County.
There you go.
It is. I actually, even in our business, we don't really ask that question much anymore, 5 to 10 years, because, again, we used to do 5 and 10 year planning, but technology and things change so fast, we find that it's almost not useless, but a year later, we throw it out the window because so many things have changed. So I do get that, especially for an organization that might be in transition, looking out 10 years may seem foggy.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Well, I will say a part of a part of the ARPA funding is capacity building and sustainability building, and we are able to take advantage of some of that funding. So a part of our transition is creating a strategic plan and vision, making sure that we have strategic board development and stuff like that. And so that's what we'll be working on this year. And which is a part of the reason why we're not doing a lot of programming. And so have us back next year in June and see where we are. And we'll probably be able to give you a 10-year plan.
And we have done that. Actually, we've had organizations on multiple times, because our first episode was, I guess, in March. It'll be 3 years. So we have had organizations back on to kind of give us an update on what's going on. So I appreciate that. So remembering that this is a podcast about Gaston County, we just love highlighting good things happening around the county. Jessica, I'll start with you on this question, and you guys can interject after. But why would you say, Gaston County is better because the Arts Council is here? See how I did that? So y'all get to think about it.
Yeah.
Putting her on the spot.
Yeah.
Especially because she's from Charlotte.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
And wearing a almost Carolina bluish.
That's why I love her.
That's why you're getting all these questions first.
It's okay. So I think that any organization that can support the arts in the county and can bring it's like you're enriching the people if you're bringing arts and culture into the county. So any organization that's able to do that, like us, then I think that it's important, right? Arts and culture brings in a lot of money to our county.
Sure.
Recently, we are part of the AEP 6 study that they do every 5 years through the American for the Arts. Last year, $22 million to Gaston County was spent on arts and culture.
Okay.
It created 409 jobs, right? And so we're an organization who can just enhance the arts for the people in our community. And so I think that's why Gaston County arts is important.
Very good. Stephanie, you're on the clock now.
Yeah, I mean, I think beyond, if you look at the economic impact that the arts has on a community, which is, huge, I think talking about, the time period that we will not speak of, but I think that it really highlighted, too, just how much we need arts and culture and enrichment in our lives, because if you take, those experiences away, it kind of dims the shine, right, of the world around you.
And it's
so
boring.
I think it's boring. And so, really, when you think about, the arts in a way, it's not only, again, got to go back to community building. It's bringing in jobs, it's bringing in economic prosperity, but it's also just making lives better. And so I think, having an organization that, where we're able to partner with the NC Arts as one of the 100 counties across North Carolina that is able to help disseminate funding to artists and art organizations in the county. I think that's one thing that makes us unique and a great asset to the community.
Okay, very good. Ashley, did they steal your thunder?
Just a little bit. Everybody had a great answer, so I'll just piggyback on both of them. I think for me, before joining the Arts Council, I wasn't really familiar with everything that we do. Sure. But after being a part of it, I see that how many organizations, and I'll even take the ARPA grant and the grassroots grant that we have, the applications we have now, where before we were pushing out a deadline, there were so many organizations that reached out to us to say, hey, when is this going to happen? Because we have this going on and we have this, and we can't do this without this. We can't do this without you guys. So I think for Gaston County, there are so many organizations that rely on us to be able to do our job, to be able to facilitate those programs that they have. Because without us, they don't do their program, they don't do their festival, they don't do their educational program, or whatever the case may be. So I think we are the missing link, and that's a good thing. That's a good position to be in.
All right, well, good. Those were really, I appreciate those answers and your thoughtfulness on that. So before we shift gears briefly, is there anything I haven't asked that I should have asked?
Well, I want to just clarify one thing.
Okay.
We get funding from the NC Arts Council, but we also get funding from like foundations like Atrium Health.
Okay.
We also get, individual donors.
Right.
I want to be able to recognize, we
Sure.
have a number of other people who give to the organization. We're also looking for, more support as well as we try to grow. So if you are, a company or business or organization who wants to support us, that would be great. But I think, is there any other?
Community Foundation.
Oh, yes, the Community Foundation. We participate in the Community Foundation run every year.
They've been on twice too as well, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes, we love them, yeah.
But everything's connected.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
But is there anything else? That was your question.
Yes.
Anything else we wanted to add? I guess you guys can jump in if you want, but I guess I would say if you're interested in applying for the ARPA grant, the deadline is December 1st. You can go on our website. You can click on grants and then grants for organizations. We did a sub-granting workshop if you had any questions, there's a link within that on our website to access that. If you qualify, if you're a nonprofit organization, you've been in existence for a year, and you've done your programming, you want to do your program between June of this year to June of next year, 2024.
Okay.
So I think that's
So
about it. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say June of 24 to 25, or between end of this year and June 24.
So June of this year, 2023.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
then June of next year, 2024.
Okay.
And also I want to say, arts is not just, painting and watercolor, right? Arts is music and dance. And like we've worked with, luckily Legacy Music has been able to host one of our meet and greets. They have wonderful artists over there. And so I think, even myself, like an actress and directors, we're all artists, right? And so I think it's important to remember that artistry.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot of different people.
Yeah. I would think most people, especially I won't call dummies like me, but most people probably when they hear the word art, something comes to their mind, something specific. But yeah, and that's just based mostly on whatever their personal experience is, right? But yeah, there's always more to almost everything like that than the novice like myself would come up with. So something to remind me though, December 1st is the deadline for this. So maybe we should put somebody on our social, Gaston Great social media or something, because you weren't back in the room yet, but maybe. Because this episode might not be released until after December 1st.
Oh.
So,
God, I tried to snag you guys, just in time before the deadline.
Yeah. So that's how we roll here. And that's how we roll here at GSMN at Gaston's Great. Yeah.
Well, I think Naomi reached out to me like a few months ago, and we just slammed with.
That's all good. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. That's all good. No, but we can get the word out regardless.
Thank you.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this little speed round of questions. This is going to be the Arts at GSM speed round of question. And these are based on Gaston County questions. So Ashley and Stephanie, you're all in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lifelong, 13 years. But we're not letting you off the hook. Charlotte is not getting off the hook. So, but we will start down here with lifelong Gaston County, so you can get an idea of what. So, Ashley, favorite Tony's ice cream flavor?
Grape.
Grape?
Hands down.
That is, I think I'll say that it is surprisingly a popular answer.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Wow.
My mom, she eats that all the time, and now I eat it all the time. So, grape.
Stephanie?
I'm a classic cookie dough.
Oh, wow, good.
That's a good one.
Have you ever been to Tony's?
I've never been to Tony's.
This is like demerit number 3
Oh my God.
on the podcast.
Jenny's ice
What
cream
time do they open? Are we leaving here and going straight there?
Oh no.
It's okay. It's okay.
Can we do like a crickets or I don't know, some kind of something. So
cherry flavor.
Ashley, Sundrop or Cheerwine?
Ooh. Sundrop. Yeah.
Do I have to pick?
I know.
I love them both.
You can do isn't it like a cherry lemon Sundrop combined or something?
I can't do that.
I think so.
If I could only pick one to drink for the rest of like the year, I would probably have to go Cheerwine.
Yeah, I would too. So have you ever heard of Cheerwine or Sundrop?
Yes.
Okay.
Cheer wine.
Cheerwine.
Cheer wine. Because Bojangles used to have like the cherry soda, and that's the closest I can get to the cherry flavor.
Okay. Favorite local restaurant?
Ooh. Smith's Bistro. It's right up the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, they've become kind of famous
They have.
nationally because of I can't remember the TV show they were on. You know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I can't remember the name of it. Stephanie?
I'm a Cramerton girl, so I have to say Screamo Taco.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
can't beat those fries.
Have you ever eaten in a restaurant in Gaston County?
I have not. I can tell you the best restaurant in Charlotte.
You can say that, but we will probably like bleep it out or edit it out, and we'll insert like the name of a Gaston County restaurant, in my voice.
Listen, I was hired as a remote employee. Unfortunately,
It's okay.
Okay, this
support
episode
that.
is deteriorating quickly. There you go.
There's a lot of wonderful people in Charlotte.
So,
Just say Bojangles.
Ashley,
Yeah.
favorite outdoor activity in Gaston County or favorite park?
Ooh, okay. I like going to Crowder's Mountain.
Yeah, Crowder's Mountain is great. It's a popular answer. Stephanie?
First question would be live Friday night music at Confluence.
Oh,
in
okay.
Cramerton.
Yeah.
Is one of my favorite things to do. Favorite park would probably be Rocky Branch.
Oh, yeah.
Just like between Cramerton and Belmont.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been on there.
It's a good,
We're not
good
even
hiking trail.
We're not even going to ask Jessica that question.
No.
Yeah, I've been to Daniel So Botanical Gardens.
There you go.
And I've been to Crowder's Mountain multiple times.
Okay.
There you go.
What was the sound effect?
Applause.
Crowd cheering.
So did you know you were going to have to take this abuse today?
No, I really thought you would just ask them and I would have to answer. But
Well, that's not how. When
Okay.
three people come, this is how we roll.
I love the people of Gaston.
All right, so I'm almost. That's good. I'm almost afraid to ask this question because it's not even on here, but I'm gonna ask it anyway because I can. Duke, UNC, or NC State?
Oh, you are. Come on. Should I? I mean, come on.
That one's
UNC.
obvious. UNC.
Yeah, all day.
Do you have an opinion on that, Stephanie?
Sports. Go
Well,
sports.
not necessarily
Like
just
that's-
sports.
Yeah, just go sports.
All right. Well, then her answer
Okay.
her answer is NC State then.
Go North Carolina, whatever it's called. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. However,
Do you have an
that can be
opinion
interpreted.
on that question?
My nephew plays basketball and he wants to go to UNC Chapel Hill. So
There you go. There you go.
that's what I'd have to.
We're not. You know what? I think we're not even gonna release this episode at all. Actually, I'm gonna start with you on this question, Jessica, because it's not related to Gaston County.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
What is something very few people know about you,
Oh God.
besides that you don't know anything about Gaston County?
Yeah, I don't know that I have a tattoo on my back, my upper back and neck. Maybe that's about.
Okay.
That's about
I'm afraid
my
that-
age probably.
I'm afraid to ask. I'm not going to ask the next question about what the tattoo is. So,
Yeah, no.
so you said your age?
Yeah, most people think I'm younger than I am.
Yes.
That might relate to my last question, which I always say is my favorite question. So, are we going to share this, or see?
I can. I don't mind.
Just for the record, I've been married for 27 years, so that's the question I'm never going to ask. But you brought it up, so just right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm 41. Most people are shocked.
That's what.
Yeah, that reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was
Yeah,
my
I'm
age,
shocked.
and I was
Oh,
like,
you didn't know,
oh.
Stephanie.
I did not know.
Yeah, most
Wow.
people want to
That's
see.
news to me.
They want to see my ID and
Wow,
can't
41.
believe it that I'm lying.
I could have definitely put you 25, 26, something like that. I was like, what?
Good for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's okay. Most people don't think I'm 40.
Yeah. See?
No, you-
Also.
So we got to go here now. So
Oh,
how old do y'all think I am?
Well, you said you've been married for 27 years, so you have to.
I did
be-
say that.
What do y'all think?
I would
I would say,
48.
yeah.
I'm really good guess at age.
yeah, I was gonna say like 44.
Thank you all. I appreciate that. I'm 53, so.
Oh, okay, we weren't too
Yes.
far off.
Not too far off.
Great.
All right, Stephanie, what is something very few people know about you? I know we.
I actually have a degree in music business, and I was a trained opera singer in college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What?
Most people don't know.
That's excellent.
That's awesome.
Everyone knows now.
From where? Well, our 4 listeners are going to know.
Yeah. I went to Radford,
Okay.
up in Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's excellent. I think that is, out of 110 episodes, that is the first answer for something like that. So,
Secret opera singer.
so top that, Ashley.
I don't know if I can. Something that nobody knows. That I can play the piano. Yeah, I've been playing the piano since I was 5.
So you're involved in the Arts Council. That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she said opera singer, so
Yeah. I can play the piano and you can sing.
There you go.
There we go.
well, I can't even.
Teamwork.
I listen to music
There,
on occasion. That's all I got.
there you
What
go.
about you? What's something that most people don't know about you?
Oh.
Yeah.
Turning the tables.
I've been that has been asked a couple of times. And the one I've said the most is probably I am growing up, especially I was a huge Stephen King fan, and I pretty much read every book that he has ever written.
Wow.
I mean, of course, he's older than all of y'all probably.
Yeah.
You know who Stephen King
Yeah,
is?
yeah.
The horror
Rose-
author.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually been to his house in Maine. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So that's
Yes.
creepy.
Stephen King scares me.
Yeah.
Yeah. To this day.
Most people know all of his movies, but I wouldn't. Just like most authors and movies, I would encourage you to read the books, of course. Over the just seeing the movies. So, wow, that was a good segue because that leads into the next question. Any book or something you would recommend? Blog, article, another podcast that you might recommend to our listeners? Yeah, this is for all 3 of you too. So,
Oh.
but you can interrupt Ashley if you want
Yeah.
to.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Charlotte people interrupt a lot, don't they?
I do. I need to work on that. The book I would recommend is 101 Ways to Change Your Life by Brianna West. It's amazing. Even if, well, I'm not going to say that, but yeah, it's amazing. It's like really helps you look at life in a different way, because I think we're all sometimes just kind of, if you're taking kind of a pessimistic view of your life, or you're complaining. No, we live in the best country in the world, right? But we sometimes complain. But
It's all relative in perspective, right?
Yeah. So this is just helps you look at life in a different way and just be proud of like where you are, no matter what's going on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll put that one down. I'm always looking for the next book to read. Do you have anything to add, or did you going to let her take the trophy on that one?
I mean, I feel like that's a really good one.
That is.
It's good. You read it?
No,
It's great.
but it sounds
It's written
So I
out.
would encourage you to listen to tomorrow's episode of Gaston's Great,
Yeah.
Okay.
where Naomi and I basically, we talked about gratitude and releasing it on Thanksgiving Day. We normally have guests on here. Unfortunately, I talked them into letting me talk and ask Naomi a few questions, but it's actually pretty good, I think, about what you're talking about, right? And it's easy to lose perspective on what we have, because there's so many, we can find so many things to complain about, right? Like you're probably going to leave here going, I can't believe I did that podcast with that dude asking me all those.
Why did I tell him I was from Charlotte?
All right, so listen, I appreciate you indulging us on some of those questions, and so just a few more, and we'll go wrap this episode up. Ashley, that's a question I like to ask too. Is remembering that this podcast about Gaston County and why it's so great and why it's better than Mecklenburg County. Why, besides the Gaston Arts Council, why would you say Gaston County is such a great place?
Gaston County is such a great place because, and with me growing up here, I have always felt a sense of community. And not only that, even as I was kind of approaching adulthood and I was kind of going into my own lane of being a filmmaker, I received so much support.
Okay.
And so many local businesses to help support. If I needed a place to film, they were like, okay, just let us know where we need to be. And it's just a lot of, it's overwhelming in a good way, how much support you receive. I think, and I don't know if you get that anywhere else. I'm not sure, but I know specifically to Gaston County, when I went to Chapel Hill, and I love Chapel Hill, don't get me wrong, but when I came back, I was like, oh, home sweet home.
Right.
So yeah, that's what it is for me.
Well, very good. Well, thank you. Stephanie?
I think for me, so I grew up in like Northern Virginia area, but coming here, it was super interesting to me how one county had all of these different small municipalities within it, and all of these small different towns that had their own unique perspectives and their own like unique hidden gems and things like that. And so I think I love the fact that we could literally stay in one county and spend an entire weekend having all kinds of different experiences, from the east side to the west side, whether you're in Belmont, or Cramerton, or McAdenville, Lowell, that's like kind of my area where I hang out, but, all the way out to, the far side of Gastonia and everything. Like there's so many wonderful hidden gems, and each place has its own kind of unique personality. Mm-hmm. And so I think, that's where finding and discovering all of those things is really fun and really unique. And I think, it's also cool to see how they're all interpreting the arts in their own way. And so all of the different things that they're bringing to their own, small towns by way of arts and art festivals and things like that is really cool. Really
Very good. So, Jessica, how would you answer that with your experience with the Arts Council and just in general?
I think they did a fantastic job. I'm going to pull back on this one.
She's just going to admit before the end of the episode that and remind us that Charlotte is the gateway to Gastonia. Y'all didn't know that, right?
Yeah.
I actually have a T-shirt.
It is.
That the tourism office brought when we had them on. They brought me a T-shirt that says Charlotte's the gateway to Gastonia.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So, last question, Jessica. What advice would you give your 20-year-old self, knowing what you know now?
Since we know it's not like 4 years ago.
Yes. You know what? I was literally thinking that this might not apply to everybody on today's episode, but.
God, I saw that question and I was like, how am I going to answer that? But I think I would just say trust your gut. I feel like even now, like I just need to trust my gut and not second guess myself. But I think for young people, if you have some young people listening, just really think about your future. I feel like when I was young, I didn't think about, I don't know, the cost of living, how much my job would pay me, like just, and I tell my nephew that because he's 15. I'm like, listen, you really need to know the cost of living and being an adult. And so I would just say, trust yourself and really think about your future and plan a little bit better.
Very good.
Yeah.
Stephanie?
I'm going to go completely opposite of that, and I'm going to say stop worrying so much about all of that, because I think, you do only have that youth and energy like for a finite amount of time.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes you got to just take that leap of faith and trust that things are going to work out. That's one thing
that's similar to trust your gut, though.
It is. It's very much trust your gut, but I think it's also, it's also don't be so hyper focused on the future and so hyper focused on planning everything out that you don't live the life around you, right?
Yeah, I know
you don't take the risks.
I know when I was 20, the things that I thought were a big deal were not a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. And I'm afraid, I've said this multiple times, I think, discussing this question is, gosh, how do you, it requires, unfortunately, I believe it requires experience. It just requires a little age and experience to realize that. Because I've got a 24, 22, and a 17-year-old who are terrific kids, luckily take after their mother. And I can see the older two getting a little bit of that perspective, but, unfortunately, I'm like, God, that's exactly how I was. I'm sorry, So it just, it would be nice to be able to have more of that perspective when you're 20 years old. Ashley, how about you?
I would say for me, if I had to go back and tell my 20-year-old self something, I would just say don't be afraid to leap by yourself.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to do things by yourself, because 9 times out of 10, you're spot on. And it's not, people aren't always going to believe in you or believe in what your dream or your passion, and that's okay. But that's the good thing about it, is that it's your dream, not everybody else's dream.
Right.
So don't be afraid to take that leap.
All right. Well, very good. Listen, I appreciate you indulging us on that question specifically, because I think there's there may be somebody out there who there may be a 20-year-old listening, right, that can take something from that. So I appreciate that. So we're getting ready to close this episode out. So again, the main point is to bring awareness to your organization, the work that you're doing. The main point isn't to give Jessica a hard time, where it may have seemed like that. But so where can listeners go to learn more, get in touch with you guys, see what might be coming up, things that's going on? Just share anything and everything if you can.
So our website is gastonarts.org. Our email is gac@gastonarts.org.
Okay.
You can always reach out to us. We are on Instagram and Facebook, and that's about it, right? I mean, we have YouTube, but we need to circle back to that.
Well, YouTube is
It's like
luckily we have Naomi here who, I mean, if I had to deal with that stuff, we wouldn't have anything. I don't even have social media on my phone.
But yeah, reach out to us if you have any questions about our upcoming grants, and any questions. I mean, because we get people who reach out and say, "Hey, we want to do a partnership," or "Hey, what about this?" And so we're happy, to accept any recommendations or suggestions about because that's a part of it, right? It's like, what does the community need?
Right.
And so we're here to connect people and support those things.
Yeah, I've been involved with organizations for 25 plus years here in Gaston County, and it's very rare, but occasionally I have been involved with somebody who we go off on this track, and you know what, we're getting ready to do something that nobody cares about. I mean, because we didn't ask the right questions.
There you go.
And somebody had a great idea, or when you're in that close group, it seems like a great idea, but is it really serving a need in the community? So, So any last words from you guys before we ship this one off to production?
Support the local art community.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm an engineer by training, and I'm well aware of how important that the arts community is, and the arts. And I've seen it in my own children. I've seen it in the organizations I'm involved with. So, yeah, I can't people might look at me and say, well, you care about the arts. Well, listen, it's super, super important, and it just enhances. I think you used the phrase, it just makes things better.
Yeah.
I mean, and it just enhances so many things that are going on here in not just our community, but in every community. And I'm afraid maybe there may be some parts of the country, I'm not so sure about here, where there's less of a focus on that in schools specifically, and so I just think that's something that's super, super important. So I appreciate your time, and I know we gave Jessica a little hard time today,
okay.
But in all seriousness, it's okay to joke and have fun, but we do appreciate the work that you and people like you and what you guys do in the community, because it does make a difference. Sometimes you might not see that. I'm lucky to be involved with organizations like United Way and the Community Foundation. I've been on both of those boards. I've been the chair of the boards. Gaston Together is another organization. I'm currently on that board. And so I get to see firsthand the work of organizations like you guys. So again, hopefully somebody will hear this that maybe not be familiar with you, and maybe somebody can get involved or help the organization in some way.
We really appreciate you inviting us on.
Yes,
well,
thank you.
Absolutely, and it was fun giving Charlotte a hard time. So, as I normally do, I haven't done this in a few episodes, but I'm going to finish off with my own book recommendation and then a quote or thought for this week and episode. And the book I chose this week was by a gentleman named Bob Chapman, and it's a book called Everybody Matters. And in short, it is a business book, but it's basically talking about how to better serve your team members and your coworkers, and how profit is really more of a result of doing the right things for your coworkers and your team members in the community, as opposed to being the first thing that you should focus on. I'd like to think that's kind of what we do here at GSM. I think sometimes we do that. I'm not so sure, but that's something we're definitely striving to be better at. And my quote for the week comes from Ambrose Bierce, not Pierce, but Bierce, who said, "Speak when you are angry, and you will make the best speech you will ever regret." Unfortunately, I wish I'd heard that when I was 20. More than once I have inserted the big, giant 13-size shoe in my mouth and when I didn't pause before I opened my mouth when I was speaking to others, when I was maybe upset about something. So take that one with you. And again, to our listeners, thanks so much for taking the time to listen to today's episode. Please continue to spread the word if you can about the podcast. And please don't hesitate to contact us here at our email, which is podcast@gastonsgreat.com. We're always looking for suggestions for future podcast topics and guests. You can find the podcast and subscribe at our website, gastonsgreat.com, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And please follow us on all our social media platforms. And as Naomi likes to remind me, please give us a good 5-star rating. That helps the podcast get noticed. Thanks again to Jessica, Ashley, and Stephanie for being our guests today. Gaston's Great is produced and brought to you by Naomi Hunt and Amy Anderson from GSM Services. I'm your host, Stephen Long. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and please keep coming back to hear more reasons why Gaston's great.